Vultures are one of the most misunderstood and least admired birds in the bird world. Many people hold biases and dislike them due to popular beliefs or how they are portrayed in movies. However, now is the time to uncover the truth behind these birds. If you want to know whether vultures eat other dead vultures, if they hunt, or why they fly for such long durations, this video is for you. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to receive new episodes. Many people believe vultures are dirty and repugnant, which is not really true. These birds bathe whenever possible and are extremely meticulous about the hygiene of their feathers. The black vulture, which is the most common in cities, sometimes spends hours cleaning its own feathers and those of its companions. Not a speck of dust escapes their cleaning regimen. Since they heavily rely on gliding flight, their flight feathers need to be in top condition at all times. And yes, some vultures do consume carrion and scavenge for food scraps in landfills. However, they have their preferences. It might sound strange, but vultures prefer fresh meat from recently deceased animals over heavily decomposed carcasses. So, that recently road-killed animal is practically a gourmet feast for vultures. Generally, vultures consume carrion when they have no other option but avoid it when they can. A question that puzzles many people is how vultures find dead animals. The black vulture, king vulture, Andean condor, and California condor primarily locate carcasses through their vision. An experiment was even conducted with captive vultures, revealing that they couldn't find hidden food even if it emitted a strong odor. Therefore, smell is not as effective for these birds. The only vulture species that truly rely on smell to find carcasses are the three species from the Cathartes genus: the turkey vulture, lesser yellow-headed vulture, and greater yellow-headed vulture, all present in Brazil. These three vultures are incredible in this aspect. Flying low over the forest canopy, they can detect the smell of dead animals on the forest floor. It's no coincidence that they usually arrive first at carcasses in forest environments. As the king vulture and black vulture lack a developed sense of smell, and in forest settings, they follow these Cathartes vultures. Have you seen a Cathartes vulture up close? If so, you must have noticed the large opening that looks like a nostril. However, that's not the vulture's nostril. It's just a bony structure that protects the nostrils while the bird feeds. The actual nostrils are located inside and slightly above that opening. I always encounter three very intriguing questions. One of them is whether a vulture can eat another dead vulture. This might seem curious, but it generally doesn't occur. Vultures, regardless of the species, tend to avoid feeding on carcasses of the same or similar species. They seem to steer clear of such situations. The reasons for this are not fully understood yet, but there are hypotheses. It could be to preserve their own health by avoiding contamination from the deceased congener. However, there are some specific situations in which a vulture might eat another dead vulture. For instance, if the carcass is so torn apart and distorted that it doesn't even resemble a vulture, then other vultures might feed on it. Another situation is when a vulture is extremely hungry and without other options. In that case, it might eat a dead vulture. Another somewhat eerie question is about vultures consuming human flesh. Indeed, vultures can feed on human flesh, and there are police records confirming this fact. However, such a scenario is rare and for several reasons. First, we usually bury or cremate bodies. Second, it's not common to leave bodies exposed to the elements for vultures. This only happens in criminal situations or accidents in remote areas. Another frequently asked question is whether vultures hunt. Well, vultures are primarily scavengers and have a lifestyle geared towards this diet. Their feet aren't adapted for grasping, and their beaks aren't sharp, except in the case of the king vulture, also known as the condor. However, in exceptional situations, some vultures might opportunistically hunt occasionally, although nothing spectacular. The black vulture, the most common type, can occasionally catch a small unsuspecting lizard, a larger insect, or even newly hatched turtles on beaches. There are rare cases of vultures from the Cathartes genus attacking snakes, including venomous ones. However, the lack of sharp claws and strong beaks in vultures makes it difficult for them to feed on the carcasses of large mammals such as cows, horses, or even animals like alligators. They attempt to consume these carcasses by opening the softer parts, usually through the openings of the dead animal. Generally, the task of tearing the tough skin of harder carcasses falls to king vultures or caracaras, which are not vultures but often associate with them, interested in the carcasses. Vultures are very particular about hygiene, but there's a somewhat unpleasant fact about them that is true. A defense strategy is to regurgitate when they are threatened or captured by predators. They vomit undigested pieces, which is a strategy to distract the predator. This can relieve the vulture's weight, and surprisingly, the predator might even choose to consume the regurgitated content. Concerning heat, vultures inhabiting the northeastern backlands or arid regions face an additional challenge. They need to ingest water more frequently than populations in humid climates. This is because the carcasses they feed on are often dehydrated and dry. As a significant portion of water is obtained from the meat they consume, if there's little water in the food, they need to seek water sources like lakes or puddles. Vultures also enjoy sunbathing. During the early hours of the morning, it's common to see them perched on a branch with their wings open to the sun. Besides warming their bodies, these sunbaths also help eliminate harmful bacteria acquired during feeding. As for bacteria, many people wonder why vultures don't get sick from consuming decomposing flesh. In fact, this is one of the most incredible abilities of vultures. They can consume decaying meat, full of dangerous bacteria, without suffering severe consequences. This is because these birds' stomachs contain an extremely powerful gastric juice that can neutralize a large portion of the bacteria and toxins present in decaying flesh. This is why vultures can ingest even venomous snake-killed meat without falling ill. However, it's important to note that they are not immune to all dangers. If they consume meat with a high concentration of heavy metals like lead or mercury, or toxic antibiotic substances, they can quickly perish. A behavior of vultures that draws quite a bit of attention is their tendency to spend long periods soaring in the sky. They can circle in circles for hours on end, almost without flapping their wings, usually taking advantage of updrafts. This flight technique is used when they're searching for carcasses or simply for moving from one place to another. Now, if you've heard the story that vultures fly high to aid digestion, know that this is a myth. Vultures are fascinating birds. I see them as a true nature's cleanup crew because, due to their scavenging habits, they help prevent the spread of diseases by eliminating bacteria that could sicken or even kill various animals. So, do you still have any doubts about vultures? I'm here to assist. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, as I can address them in one of the upcoming videos. And that's it. I appreciate your continuous support, and until the next video.